Hey guys, it's Brutal Lynx with a special morning commute for you guys. I'm not going to be talking about social anything or, making money this time because something tragic has occurred. Yesterday it was reported that Wes Craven, the creator of A Nightmare on Elm Street, Last House on the Left, Scream, has passed away. He was apparently fighting cancer, and after a long battle with cancer, we lost one of the world's most iconic, most influential filmmakers known to mankind. I mean, when it came down to psychological thrillers, a lot of people look at the Nightmare on Elm Street series now. I'm a when I say huge fan of Wes Craven, huge freaking fan. The Hills Have Eyes, Last House on the Left, those are what I started with and worked my way right on up through the Scream series, and just it hits just so hard. And what's funny is that I can remember being a child and my mother being upset when a famous actor or a famous actress or a famous director died from her era, and not understanding what she was so upset about because, it's not like a family. But now I understand. I mean, I'm genuinely sad about this. It's just kind of like first off, I live my life by horror movie rules. I'm not shitting you. I live my life by horror movie rules. This is probably why I've stayed alive so goddamn long, because there's been situations that would have been some serious horror movie shit that the people who were involved did not make it out of, okay? So, I live my life by horror movie rules, and it all started with The Last House on the Left. And I guess I'm just more or less, going over my memories of how he's influenced, and, just keeping the memory alive by remembering what those films did to me, for me, entertained me. They were definitely entertaining. But Last House on the Left definitely was, be wary when you're out in the city. Be careful of who you trust. Be careful of where you go. Think about all those Craigslist killings and people who hook up on all these hookup sites and then they end up getting robbed or murdered and shit. And that was Last House on the Left. You had your warning. You had your warning. That was Last House on the Left, okay? Last House on the Left also taught you that revenge might feel good, but revenge doesn't fix anything. Because at the end of Last House on the Left, if you haven't seen it, tough shit, I'm about to spoil it. Last House on the Left, two girls in the city, they meet up with the wrong people, go to the wrong place, end up getting kidnapped. They take these girls, well, I think they killed the first girl, it's been a while since I've seen it. But they took the surviving girl out to the woods, and the nod to it in Scream was when Drew Barrymore was right there. She could see her parents, but she couldn't scream to say anything. Well, that started with Last House on the Left. The pond that they took this girl to was right across the street from her house. Right across the street, which was the last house on the left. And she could see the house, but they ended up killing her. But the thing is that's not where the movie ends. The movie goes on to these killers needing to do something or other, and they come into contact with her parents. Her parents find out that they killed their daughter. The parents then seek revenge, and you also get to see where Wes Craven got his obsession with booby traps, because the father booby trapped the house and everything else to capture these guys, and they end up killing them right in front of the cops. Just bam! Just end up killing these guys. And at the end of everything, they still felt empty. And that was powerful. The sense of, even if you got your revenge, what would that do for you? It won't bring the person back, and it won't help you feel better. And you would think, oh, it's a stupid horror movie, blah, blah, blah. But there are lessons to be learned in everything. When you just watch a movie, you're not intellectually watching a movie. You're not enjoying the movie. You're not understanding what the movie is trying to tell you and or convey. Whether or not it's a horror movie, a love movie, stupid buddy movie, they all have something to learn. But that was Last House on the Left, and that's where everything started for me in Wes Craven. So think about, other Wes Craven movies you might have liked and watch them, buy them. The way people like this live on is through our memories, through us watching, and through us enjoying the work that they did. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street taught me that, social justice is not necessarily the answer. In fact, social justice can make things worse. The sins of the father visited on the child, which is a huge statement on parental responsibility. You want to keep your children safe, but are you willing to commit the ultimate sin to do so? And when you do commit the ultimate sin to do so, what happens when that chicken comes home to roost? That is the story of A Nightmare on Elm Street. A lot of it is teenagers bonding, growing up. They see there are points in time in which your parents cannot help you. And it's really, for teenagers, it's a coming-of-age movie. It's a movie about the loss of innocence. That's what Freddy Krueger stands for. That's what he represents. The loss of innocence. Because the original story was he was raping these children, not just killing them. He was raping them and killing them. And it was that loss of innocence, that is played throughout the movie. You have the loss of innocence in his crime, and you also have the loss of innocence in the story of Nancy. For all teenagers, there comes a point in time where no matter how hard you try to save your friends, you can't. There comes a point in time where no matter how much you need your friends, they won't be there. They might not be there. They can't be there. In Nancy's case, they were dead. See? The times when you need your parents, or you think you need your parents, and your parents are just not available to you. Nancy's father was a police officer who was in complete denial, and Nancy's mother was an alcoholic who was of no help whatsoever. Nancy had to save herself, take care of herself, think for herself, be for herself. That's the loss of innocence, that loss of, my mommy and my daddy can always save me. That someone will always be there. No, there comes a point in time where you have to be there for yourself. There comes a point in time where you have to grow up. And that is Nightmare on Elm Street in a nutshell. There's the psychological horror piece of it all, conquering your own fears, facing your fears, instead of feeding your fears. Freddy Krueger was this specter that was fed by the fear of these children. And once Nancy faced the monster she created, in other words, faced her fear, she was able to, quote unquote, defeat her fear, even though she really didn't, because Freddy came back, blah, blah, blah. But even then, no matter how hard you try, sometimes you still fail. There's a lot to learn from these movies. I'm telling you, you can't just sit back and watch passively. You have to actively watch movies. If you don't, you're missing the point. But that was Wes Craven. He's going to be sorely missed. They were getting ready to do a Scream TV show, which was going to be awesome, because they were basically going to be bringing back the idea from Freddy's Nightmares. If you don't understand Freddy's Nightmares, everyone who worked on Freddy's Nightmares moved on to work on Tales from the Crypt. If it wasn't for Freddy's Nightmares, there would be no Tales from the Crypt. So it was going to be something like that, except Scream themed. And just the simple fact that Wes Craven, created such iconic characters. I mean, Freddy Krueger, as much as you hated him, became something that we all grew to love, if only to deal with what he represented, the fear of what he represented. Being scared is one of those visceral human emotions that can be unrivaled by anything outside of love. I mean, fear is stronger than hate. Fear is what creates hate. So he was definitely a master at manipulating fear, and if you paid attention, getting you to learn a thing or two. So that's all I have on Mr. Wes Craven. You will be missed. Rest in peace. You'll live on in my nightmares for certain. And I'm going to make sure to watch every single Wes Craven movie this week. So you guys go on ahead, do the same. And enjoy what he gave us. Enjoy the gifts he gave us, which is that gift of entertainment, and just that gift of wonder, the worlds he created. So, yeah, we're gonna miss you. Rest in peace. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You can check this out on the Big Boy Project here on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to them as well as Brutal Lynx. You can check out Brutal Lynx on Facebook at facebook.com/Brutal Lynx Bear. Just go on ahead, or you can just do a search for Brutal Lynx and the fan page will come up. So go ahead, enjoy it, and enjoy the gifts that Wes Craven brought us. And that's it. I got to go to work.